So today we're going to do something a little different. If this is your first time here, hello! I am Hannah, or AngrilyUwUs! I like to make video essays about random games that live rent-free in my brain. However, today I wanted to talk about 3 different free Christmas games that you can play over the holidays. I would also like to mention that even though these games are free, if you can, please support the developers. They put a lot of time into these projects, learning the skills that they needed in order to deliver these types of experiences, and they deserve all the support. You play as Sally, a sex worker walking to her ex's house to deliver a present for her son Billy. You get introduced to the game's controls whilst walking to the house, which are kind of interesting because I've never had any sort of map work in this way, but I really liked it honestly. It's a fairly desolate town with a fair amount of sex workers, and you decide to leave the present on the doorstep, which can we just take a moment to really think about this? Snow is wet, obviously. So the present is gonna be soggy. You thought the wet socks are bad? Nah, they got nothing in comparison to a soggy Christmas stocking. Can I offer you a moist lump of coal in these trying times? They also don't care if you hit them. I wasn't wondering if they would react to my antics or anything. No, of course not! I'm a nice person to everybody in every game ever. You come across a taped-off area with a bunch of police officers, which sadly have made you take another route home. So we walk over to the subway, not the sandwich shop, and somebody appears to be sleeping on the floor, covered in ketchup, without a pulse. My favourite way to take a good old nap. You inspect the body, and apparently he's been disemboweled. So you figure it would be best to leave before whoever did this comes back. We walk ahead, and then we see him. Santa Claus. And he wants to ask us a question. While trying to exit the subway, you find that the door is jammed, so you have to walk all the way back and sneak around Santa again. After potentially walking into some bathrooms and being very confused about the lack of crowbars you need, eventually you'll find this sketchy control room. There's a police officer on the floor who has apparently been injured more than the others. We look around this weird sort of labyrinth and eventually find a crowbar to unstick the door. Unfortunately, when you leave the area, Santa begins to chase you. God damn it, and I thought I got all my cardio in today. Thankfully though, if you're a genius like me, you'll easily find your way out and run out of the subway. You emerge from the subway and wonder why it became so quiet all of a sudden. Where is everyone? So, casually walking around with a crowbar, you make it home. However, the gate has been locked. And when you turn around, there he is! Which, side note here, the game tells you to find something to break down the gate, but you can't outrun Santa as far as I tried, so after dying and having to return back from out the subway, walk all the way back there, do the same thing again and try and outrun him again, I figured that when I came out the subway, I would just try and find whatever the something to break down the gate was, which is an axe, and eventually I walked home with the axe and was able to break down the gate. Which is a little strange that I couldn't break it down with the crowbar originally. So I'm a little, but whatever. Sadly, when you reach your home, you have an eviction notice and the locks have already been changed. To be honest, this just sounds like you got screwed over by the average landlord. So like a completely sane person, you decide your best course of action is to walk on the train tracks to get out of there. The entire time I was walking down the track, I was thinking we were going to get hit by a train. In the UK, we had advertisements about trains being very dangerous because, well, they are. The only time I've ever actually walked over train tracks, I made sure to triple check that it was completely clear. I didn't wear headphones or anything like that so I could hear anything worst case scenario. Do not f**k with trains. Do not walk on train tracks. Developer, if you see this, please. This gave me so much anxiety. Don't make me walk on train tracks. You finally make it to the train station and find more dead police officers. Thankfully though, you find a gun and a concerning amount of ammo lying around. There's a fair few axes as well in case you run out of ammo too, so the developer has made sure to idiot-proof the area so you can definitely hit Santa Claus with an axe worst case. Because at last, you walk down the corridor and finally it's time to give Santa a reason for wearing all that red clothing. It's to hide the fact that he is bleeding. This man tanks headshots too. I've no idea what sort of armor this bubble hat gives, but damn, it seems to make you unstoppable. Since Santa Claus is faster than you, after shooting him a couple times, I decided to crouch because for some odd reason, he's not able to hit you when you're crouched down, I guess. Santa just has very weak knees. He can't quite reach down here. It's okay. So at last we can finish him off. He slumps to the floor, leaving us with the message, "You killed Santa. Merry Christmas!" I liked the art style in the game. Something about these types of graphics, I just have such a soft spot for them, especially within horror games, since your brain tends to fill in the blanks and it only helps to elevate the creepiness. Sadly, this is probably the weakest game in the trilogy I have for us. I found the movement to be very clumsy. It felt like I was sliding around a lot, and for some odd reason the game would almost lag and then move the camera, which I only had in my second playthrough, so I'm unsure of what caused this, because in my first playthrough I didn't have any issues like that apart from the sliding around. Also, I found the text to be extremely hard to read at times, but this can be a personal preference. For a little free Christmas game, I did enjoy executing Santa. On to the next game! Before I even get into the story of Three-Headed Santa, I will say that the dev has started this as a tribute to bad indie horror games. So the whole game is very clearly poking fun at bad indie horror games, and it's done in the best way. Apparently Gregory has made a fatal error when decorating his Christmas tree, and accidentally summons Three-Headed Santa. How will he escape this nightmare? Most impressively, this game was made in 2 days. When opening up the game, you'll be introduced to the title page with an important note saying, "Made in 2 games for the I thought it would be a good idea to make a game in 2 days right before Christmas even though I can't tie my own shoes. Imaginary Game Jam." I honestly love it. It really sets the tone. I will say, the dev has made some other fantastic games in the past, such as Night of the Consumers. I would love to do a deep dive on the dev's games, so if you would like to see that, please comment a moon emote so I know you want a video on that. Anyways, the actual story of the game is definitely something. Christmas is your favourite time of year, but your tree, like you, is naked. And so you need to find 5 baubles around your house for the tree. So you go searching around your house. We start in the living room and damn, that's a nice flat screen TV. What is that? The 3-inch destroyer? Then we find the first bauble on a shelf in the kitchen. The next is in the living room, so let's take a break from searching for more baubles because damn, you clearly found that GTA 5 unlimited money glitch in order to buy that Lamborghini. Cat! I like that outlet. That's a nice outlet. The next bauble is in your bedroom. I have no joke here, the game is funny enough, honestly. I found an error here within the game, which I don't know if it is intentional or not, so on the stairs, there's like a collider stopping you from getting down. I tried to crouch under it, but that only got me more stuck. So I realized I could actually jump over the banister, and it just sort of was completely fine. I played the game again after this recording and had the same issue, so I'm not sure if that bug is intended, but if it's not, oops. Bauble 4 is in the bathroom, which took me a moment to notice the giant light switch. You see, this is no light switch. This over here, this is a light switch. This is a light dominant. My own jokes are ridiculous! The final bauble is in the kid's bedroom. Strange to have a kid's bedroom when you seem to live by yourself, but who am I to judge? I only live in a housing crisis in the UK, so bad we play a game of guess which one is a London flat or a Swedish prison. I'm not kidding, that's a real thing and it's not easy. Damn, some Swedish prisons look really comfy though. Like, sheesh. You finish hanging the baubles and decide to add 3 stars to the top of your Christmas tree, just so it's better than everyone else's Christmas tree. Once you add the stars, you decide it's bedtime, and considering your head clips through the bed frame, you'll be dreaming of the back rooms, or maybe you'll just fall into them, I guess. You wake up the next day hoping that Santa has got you another Lambo. Meanwhile, I'm hoping that he can get me a Frodo Frog and 200 subscribers. Yes, that is a not so subtle hint. Please decimate that like button. I would appreciate it so very much. Mwah! You notice that somebody has stabbed your lampshade. Didn't realise you lived in Birmingham. I'm amazed your car isn't sitting on bricks right now, but here we are, I suppose. You decide that something isn't right. After deciding that the dryer isn't the issue, you go downstairs and maybe your vibrating Christmas tree isn't the weirdest thing down here. Mostly because your oven is upside down. I didn't notice this until 10 minutes into the game. I genuinely don't know how. So you walk to the downstairs bathroom and find your present inside the toilet. Finally, three-headed Santa decides to give you a little smooch. You wake up in a weird... I don't know what to call this place. It looks sort of like a weird basement or maybe a construction site. You'll see what I mean later. But you pull out this banger of a line.
Where am I? I think I've been kidnapped. And what the hell was that thing? Was it three-headed Santa Claus? Ho ho holy sh**.
There's a piece of paper on the floor which reads as follows. Dear Santa, this year can I please get another Highland Sill game? Keep it real, Santa. Michael, age 8. Santa's note. I bet this kid hasn't even played the original games. What a poser. I'm sending this little back some coal. Which is kind of funny because my letter to Santa is very similar. Dear Santa, this year, can I please get another Watch Dogs game, preferably set in Manchester, England? Have a nice summer. Hannah, age 20. No idea what Santa would have thought, because it came back with this written on the back, so... I don't know. Anyways, I'm gonna go eat my sausage roll now. You decide to walk around, and there's an arrow pointing fun. The fun route is slightly longer than the not fun route, so I guess you just like walking. You see Santa running in front of you. He sprints away into a room that needs a key. You decide to walk out into the snow and cold. Still without clothes, without a torch, so I have honestly no idea where this light source is coming from, especially since both of your arms are in front of you. After you walk around for a bit, you notice a glowing key. However, when you turn around, a spooky, scary snowman is waiting for you to ask if you have a moment to talk about our Lord and Saviour.
James.
Use the key to open the lock and find yourself walking through a maze. It's amazing! Get it! But there's a twist. Chainsaw minions. Yeah, I have no idea what's going on either at this point. We're just gonna go with it. You come to the end of the hallway, or maze, or whatever you want to call this, honestly, and find some random bloke. The interaction goes as follows.
You did it too, didn't ya?
Who the f*** are you?
You also put 3 stars on the top of your Christmas tree? We were so foolish. We wanted to have a better Christmas tree than all the others. And now we must pay the ultimate price.
You think that putting 3 stars on top of the Christmas tree has summoned three-headed Santa and chainsaw minions?
Yes.
Damn, I think you're right.
Why are you naked?
It's Christmas. I never wear clothes at Christmas. It's a celebration.
Nice.
Sadly though, Santa decides that it's time for this person's subscription to having a head has ended.
I've been a bad boy, Mr. Santa, but I'm not dying today.
You run out of yet another maze with, I think, snow on the ground or old meat. I genuinely can't tell, which I think is the point. I played through this game like 3 times and I think it's supposed to be like rotting meat or flesh or something, like implying that Santa has done this multiple times. It's not easy to figure out. The game was made in 2 days. I'm gonna cut it some slack. Finally, after running away from Santa, we get this absolute cutscene, which is just pure cinema, honestly.
Can't catch. Neat.
Ho, ho, ho.
It's him. It's the real Santa.
Hey man, use this.
I always wanted an Uzi, thanks Santa.
We're able to Wolfenstein Santa, ending the game with a final scene.
Merry Christmas, you three-headed sucking son of a bitch.
I love the humour the dev has brought to the game. I think using a bunch of assets from the Unity store really added to it, especially when I can recognise some of them from games such as Phasmophobia and House Flipper, oddly enough. The story, as bizarre as it is a really fun experience. I would highly suggest playing this with other people so you can get multiple people's reactions from this game. It is hilarious. The animations are brilliant and broken in the perfect way. You can really tell that the dev knows what they're doing and using that in order to make such a janky experience. My only issue with this game is that my cursor kept leaving my main monitor to get milk, so I would end up pulling up some random stuff on my other monitor. I genuinely don't know if this is intentional or not, but here we are, I guess. This is most certainly a game. When I first played this game, I was trying not to laugh as much as possible at 1 AM with my parents asleep in the next room. Do not play this game at 1 AM with your parents asleep in the next room. It's so hard not to giggle at this game. It's brilliant. On to the final game! The story of Santa Got a Shotgun is very complicated. So you see, we have Santa, and somehow he acquired a shotgun. Yeah, that's it. The game, unlike the others, isn't really a horror game. It's more of a wave-based shooter. However, when the snowman will just spawn behind you, scaring the ever-loving snow out of you, I've decided we can call it a horror. So, since there's no story, let's talk about what you do in the game. If you haven't already assumed, you play as Santa running around a small town with a shotgun, shooting evil snowmen. We have 4 types of enemies: melee snowmen, top hat snowmen, creeper snowmen, and throat ball men. I couldn't think of a better name, we're just gonna go with this. The melee snowmen will attack with their stick arms, looking very happy whilst they do it, might I add. The top hat snowmen throw projectiles, these being snowballs, and look very angry as if you just touched their carrot without their consent. You dirty dog. Creeper snowman will explode, like a Minecraft creeper. I'd make a joke here, but I don't want to be associated with the Minecraft community since I like my partners over the age of 18. And able to consent. Throat ball men get their name from puking snowballs at you from their throats. I genuinely just could not think of a better name, so throat ball men are easily one of the scariest enemies in this game since they can literally vomit projectiles at you without a cooldown. They will just mow you down. Thankfully, you don't have to run up close and personal with a shotgun, since you can upgrade your gun between waves. These include damage, accuracy, fire rate, and critical chance. But upgrading your gun and running around enemies in a loop would get boring after a while, right? Thankfully, the enemies do get faster, which means you can also upgrade Santa too. You can improve his agility, max health, and increase the points multiplier to help you get a better high score. Finally, and most importantly, you have grenades, which honestly are my favourite item in this game, even if I keep throwing them at my feet, ending my runs a little too early. Grenades also have upgrades, so of course you need to purchase your grenades, but you can upgrade their damage, and most importantly, you can add an explosion to each grenade, creating a giant cluster grenade. This stacks up to 8 times. I don't know how to key this in, but if you run out of ammo within this game, you will switch to your melee weapon, which is a candy cane. See what I did there? I'm sorry. Just laugh, please. I just like this since it shows the dev has player-proofed their game in case you run out of ammo and need an alternative way to delete the enemies. You also find ammo from melting snowman, so the more you get rid of, the more ammo you will gain. The gameplay loop is very simple but extremely satisfying and addictive. You run around wave after wave shooting enemies, spending your currency on upgrades, and trying to survive for as long as possible. When you die, you restart and try to beat your high score. It's really well done, honestly. Voxels are a really interesting art style, and in this game, they just work so brilliantly. When you shoot snowmen, they fall apart and leave snow behind on the ground, so you can see a trail of dead snowman snow. Which is a weird sentence, but it's cool that you can see where the majority of carnage has been on the map. The lighting from the houses is brilliant, since that's what illuminates the map. It really adds to the atmosphere, which I think is really tied together with the snow and fog. It blocks some of your vision, which sort of adds to the game and makes it a little bit more eerie. But when it snows, it can be very foggy like this and becomes hard to see, so it's not forced. The enemy variety works so well. There's only 4 enemies, but that's really all that's needed for this. They all have their own parts. The top hat snowman always keeping the distance, attacking you with projectiles. The regular melee snowmen are always trying to come in for a hug, rushing at you at any chance they get. The creepers always sprinting in out of nowhere, being a huge hindrance at times, especially if you don't invest in a fast reload. I learned from that the hard way. Finally, the throatball men, who are just constantly messing you up, so your best counter for them is just to throw grenades at them and stay away from them the best you can. The gunplay and how the camera moves are so exceptionally well done, as you lean side to side when you move, so you're able to dodge snowballs that are being thrown at you, and the gunplay, it just works so well. I feel like this is due to the sound design and how the gun is animated after each shot. The devs should genuinely be extremely proud of themselves for this, like it is so bloody well done. The player upgrades and balancing are really well done. The player never is able to go Doomslayer and upgrade everything all at once and just become overpowered. Alternatively, unless you decide to never spend any of your currency, you won't be underpowered to the enemy, so they're able to just curb stomp you. I will say I am speaking specifically on the normal mode. The other mode, you might get minced up if you don't upgrade anything from the start. Source, trust me. I only have 3 dislikes of this game. First being the UI. However, I did compare the UI from the first game to this, and the UI in the first is in more of the same style, being pixelated. However, this could have been changed out due to people not finding it as easy to read. As I mentioned, I do struggle sometimes with certain fonts, which is why in my videos I always tend to use the same ones. And I always meme with Comic Sans, because graphic design is my passion. The next is the music constantly looping. Of course, this could be due to it being hard to find many Christmas songs that would fit with this sort of theme and have the right energy. That having been said, I don't find the music annoying, I just wish there were more variety to it. Finally though, my biggest issue with this game, I want another one. I know this game only released on the 9th of December, however, if the dev plans on creating another game, maybe a third in the series, or maybe just another shooter with a different theme altogether, please make a Halloween game. I would love to see it, and I want to play it. This game is really addictive, and the main downside is there's only one map to play on. I hope either the game maybe gets expanded one day, or we get a game with multiple levels. This game does allow you to name your own price and suggest $2, but personally, I've already played a few hours in this. I think it's well worth 10. After playing all 3 games, I think Santa Gets a Shotgun is the best for replayability. It's genuinely so fun. I just keep going back to it, and I keep showing it to my friends. It's just such a good game. Three-Headed Santa was a great experience to play, especially when showing it to friends. Everyone was very confused. All of these games only have one dev behind them, so I would highly recommend playing these games and supporting the devs, even if you give them $2, which is the suggested price on itch.io for 2 of these projects. Although I stand by Santa Gets a Shotgun is worth more due to how much time you can easily invest in it. Also, if anybody beats my high score of whatever is shown on the screen, tell me. Thank you so much for making it to the end. Which game did you like the most? Will you remember our Employee of the Month? If you made it this far, please comment a snowman emote so I know that you got all the way here. It means a lot to know that somebody has been able to sit through me waffling for however long this video was. Take care, and maybe I'll see you next time. Bye!